Welcome to Goalie's Pip Academy. One day, three best friends, Ella, Jay, and Mia, were stargazing in their backyard. Suddenly, Mia pointed to a black patch in the sky. "What's that?" she asked. "It's like the stars disappear there." Jay, the science whiz, gasped. "It's a black hole." Ella blinked. "What's a black hole? Do stars fall into it? What happens next?" The three friends couldn't stop imagining what was inside that dark spot, and their questions led them to an out-of-this-world adventure, just like ours today. All right, let's go. What is a black hole anyway? And what happens inside one? Buckle up because this is going to blow your mind. First things first, a black hole is not a hole like the ones you dig in the sand. Nope. It's a region in space where gravity is so strong, even light can't escape. That's why it's called a black hole, because we can't see it. It forms when a massive star reaches the end of its life, explodes in a huge supernova, and collapses under its own weight. Inside a black hole, the rules of physics as we know them go completely bonkers. At the center is something called a singularity, a point where gravity is infinite, and time and space warp into something scientists are still trying to figure out. It's like a cosmic mystery box. Oh, and here's something cool. Black holes aren't just space vacuums, sucking everything up willy-nilly. They only eat things that come too close. Far away, their gravity acts just like any other object in space. Phew! Good news for Earth. Quiz time. What's the main reason we call it a black hole? A. It's made of black-colored matter. B. It's always dark outside a black hole. C. Light can't escape from it. Or D. It has a lot of black dots. Think carefully. Got your answer? If you said C, light can't escape from it, then well done. That's right, black holes are black because no light can escape their super strong gravity. All right, let's dig deeper. There's a region around a black hole called the event horizon. Once you cross it, there's no turning back. Kind of like going over a waterfall. If you were to fall into a black hole, not recommended, you'd experience something super weird called spaghettification. Yep, you'd be stretched out like a long, wiggly noodle, because the gravity pulls harder on your feet than on your head. Sounds wild, doesn't it? Here's another mind bender. Black holes can be different sizes. There are stellar black holes, which are only a few times bigger than our sun. And then there are supermassive black holes, which sit at the centers of galaxies and can be millions, even billions of times the mass of the sun. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has one called Sagittarius, a star. Now let's talk about the coolest fact ever. Black holes can merge. When two black holes collide, they form an even bigger one. And this collision sends ripples through space-time called gravitational waves. Scientists on Earth can actually detect these waves. Isn't that amazing? Quiz time again. Stellar black holes are only a few times bigger than our sun. Think you know the answer? If you said true, then well done. That's right. Stellar black holes are only a few times bigger than our sun. Before we wrap up, here are some quick fun facts. Black holes don't suck like a vacuum cleaner. You have to get really close to be affected by their pull. If two black holes were fighting in a cosmic wrestling match, the bigger one would win and absorb the smaller one. Some black holes spit out high-energy jets of particles called quasars, which can shine brighter than entire galaxies. Now, here's a mind-blowing thought to leave you with. Scientists think there might be tiny black holes zooming around our universe, formed when it was just a baby. Could one be nearby? Who knows? So what did we learn today? Black holes are super strong, super mysterious, and super cool. And even though we can't see what happens inside, scientists are using telescopes and math to uncover their secrets bit by bit. If you're as curious as Ella, Jay, and Mia, keep exploring. Read books about space, watch videos, or even visit a planetarium to learn more. The universe is full of wonders waiting to be discovered. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more, and be sure to check out our other playlists. Until next time, keep asking questions and stay curious.
Is your little one working on finding their words? You're not alone in this journey. At Goalie, we've developed a speech and language system to support early learners. Our goal? To help kids learn their first 50 words. Here's what makes Goalie special. Interactive apps designed by expert speech therapists. We make ad-free content like this one to support our learning, and our app for parents lets you track your child's progress. Every child develops at their own pace, and Goalie is here to provide that extra boost. Our system has already helped thousands of families across America to support their children's communication skills. Visit getgoalie.com today and use the code YouTube10 for 10% off your first purchase. Again, that's getgoalie.com to give your learner a boost in speech.
How do spaceships go to space? Space facts for kids. Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, how do spaceships get all the way up there into space? Is it magic? Is it science? Do rockets just zoom straight up and suddenly find themselves floating with the stars? Well, today we're going to answer those questions. Get ready to launch into the world of rockets, space travel, and some of the coolest facts. Imagine this. It's a quiet, clear morning at a rocket launch pad. Scientists and engineers are checking everything one last time. The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, and suddenly, boom! The rocket roars to life, flames burst out, and it shoots up into the sky, climbing higher and higher until it disappears into space. But how does it happen? How does a spaceship actually get up there? It's all about rockets, fuel, and speed. Let's break it down. Rockets are huge machines with powerful engines designed to push a spaceship up, up, and up. But they can't just float up into space like a balloon. To get there, they have to escape something called Earth's gravity. Gravity is the force that pulls everything down toward the ground. It's why a ball falls back when you throw it up, and why we stay firmly planted on Earth instead of floating around. To beat gravity, spaceships need to go super fast, about 17,500 miles per hour. That's faster than any plane, car, or train. How do they go that fast? With the help of rocket engines and a ton of fuel. When the rocket engine burns fuel, it creates hot gases that shoot it out of the bottom of the rocket. These gases push the rocket upward like a giant push off the ground. Think of it like blowing up a balloon and letting it go. The air rushing out makes the balloon zoom across the room. Except rockets are much stronger and faster. Now it's time for our first quiz. Quiz time, true or false? Spaceships need to escape Earth's gravity to reach space. If you said true, then well done. That's right. Rockets need to escape Earth's gravity to reach space, and they do it by going super fast. Let's keep going. Once the rocket blasts off, it doesn't just keep all its parts. Did you know rockets drop pieces along the way? Rockets are made in stages like building blocks, and each stage has its own job. The first stage holds the fuel and engines needed to lift the rocket off the ground. Once that fuel is used up, the stage separates and falls back to Earth, making the rocket lighter so it can go faster. Eventually, the final stage of the rocket carries the spaceship or satellite into orbit. Orbit is when the spaceship is going so fast that it doesn't fall back to Earth, but instead travels in a circle around it. Isn't that amazing? And guess what? Spaceships don't need engines running all the time to stay in orbit. Once they're up there, they keep moving because there's no air or friction to slow them down. It's like sliding on ice. Once you're moving, you just keep going. Now let's dive into some fun facts about spaceships and space travel. Rockets burn an incredible amount of fuel during launch, about 20 tons every second. That's like burning through an entire swimming pool full of fuel in minutes. The Saturn V rocket, which carried astronauts to the moon, was as tall as a 36-story building. Imagine a rocket taller than most skyscrapers. Did you know astronauts and spaceships float because there's no gravity in space? Rockets don't just take people to space. They carry satellites that help us use GPS, watch TV, and even predict the weather. It's time for our second quiz. Let's see how much you remember. Quiz time. What do rockets do with their first stage after the fuel is used up? A. Keep it attached. B. Drop it off. C. Send it into orbit. D. Burn it in space. If you said B, drop it off, then you're absolutely right. Rockets drop their first stage to make the spaceship lighter and faster. Amazing work. Now, before we wrap up, let's recap what we've learned today. Rockets burn fuel to create hot gases that push them upward, just like blowing up a balloon and letting it go. Rockets are built in stages, and they drop off parts to get lighter as they travel higher. Once in orbit, spaceships keep moving without engines because there's no air or friction to slow them down. Space travel teaches us to be efficient, conserve energy, and stay curious. Rockets and spaceships are absolutely incredible, and now you know how they work. If you loved all the learning about spaceships and want to discover more amazing science facts, make sure to check out our other videos. Subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more. Thanks for watching, friends.
Is your little one working on finding their words? You're not alone in this journey. At Goli, we've developed a speech and language system to support early learners. Our goal? To help kids learn their first 50 words. Here's what makes Goli special. Interactive apps designed by expert speech therapists. We make ad-free content, like this one, to support learning. Our app for parents lets you track your child's progress. Every child develops at their own pace, and Goli is here to provide that extra boost. Our system has already helped thousands of families across America support their children's communication skills. Visit getgoli.com today and use code YouTube10 for 10% off your first purchase. Again, that's getgoli.com to give your learner a boost in speech.
Hey there, space explorers! Have you ever wondered, what does space smell like? Can space even have a scent? I mean, it's a giant vacuum with no air, so how could it possibly smell like anything? Well, get ready, because today we're blasting off into the cosmos to sniff out the truth. But before we start, here's a quick story to spark your imagination. One day, three friends, Leo, Ava, and Mia, built a rocket out of cardboard boxes in their backyard. "When we land on Mars," Leo said, holding a helmet made of a mixing bowl, "I'm going to smell everything." Ava giggled. "What does space even smell like? Bubblegum? Pizza?" Mia, the science enthusiast, adjusted her goggles and declared, "I bet it smells like stars, whatever that means." The three friends laughed, but their question launched an intergalactic mystery, just like ours today. What does space smell like? And does it even have a scent? Well, astronauts who've been to space say yes. They describe a very distinct smell when they return to their spacecraft after a spacewalk. But wait, how is that possible? Here's the science. Space itself doesn't have air, which means no oxygen, no wind, and no smells floating around like on Earth. But when astronauts go out for a spacewalk, tiny particles from space, like dust from dying stars or exploding supernovas, stick to their spacesuits. When they re-enter the spacecraft, those particles mix with the air inside, creating a scent. How cool is that? So what does it smell like? Astronauts say it smells like burnt steak campfire. Isn't that wild? Some even say it smells metallic, like hot metal or ozone. Who knew space was so spicy? Quiz time. Why do astronauts smell something after a spacewalk? A. Space is full of flowers. B. Particles from space stick to their suits and mix with air inside the spacecraft. C. They imagine it, because space is super quiet. D. They high jumps. It's B. Space particles stick to their suits, and when they come back inside, those particles mix with the air, creating a smell. If you said B, well done. Now let's dive into some out-of-this-world facts about space smells. Did you know that the scent astronauts describe comes from stuff like supernova dust? That's right. When a star explodes, it releases tons of particles into space, and those particles have unique chemical makeups. Some of those chemicals are hydrocarbons. Here's something even cooler. Scientists on Earth have tried to recreate the smell of space. They've made scents for training astronauts and even created special candles and perfumes inspired by space smells. Imagine lighting a candle and thinking, "Ah, smells like the Milky Way today." But it's not just astronauts who experience space in an interesting way. Did you know that even our noses are affected by space? Without gravity, fluids in the body shift, and astronauts often get stuffy noses in space. That makes it harder for them to smell things clearly. So when they do notice a scent, you know it's something special. Quiz time again. True or false? Scientists have recreated the smell of space on Earth. What's your answer? If you said true, you're absolutely correct. Scientists have worked hard to capture the unique scent of space for training and fun. Isn't that amazing? Before we wrap up, let's explore one last cool fact. While astronauts smell space particles, planets and moons might have scents too. For example, Titan, one of Saturn's moons, has a methane-rich atmosphere. If you could smell it, which you can't without a spacesuit, it might stink like gasoline. In Venus, its clouds are full of sulfuric acid, so it would probably smell like rotten eggs. So what did we learn today? Space doesn't have a smell on its own, but particles from stars, planets, and beyond can stick to astronauts' suits and create a scent when they come back inside. Thanks for rocketing through this fun topic with me today. If you're curious about more space mysteries, grab a telescope, read about astronauts, or light a space-scented candle. The universe is full of surprises waiting for you to discover. And don't forget, subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more, and be sure to check out our other playlists. Keep wondering, keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.
Is your little one working on finding their words? You're not alone in this journey. At Goalie, we've developed a speech and language system to support early learners. Our goal? To help kids learn their first 50 words. Here's what makes Goalie special. Interactive apps designed by expert speech therapists. We make ad-free content like this one to support our learning, and our app for parents lets you track your child's progress. Every child develops at their own pace, and Goalie is here to provide that extra boost. Our system has already helped thousands of families across America to support their children's communication skills. Visit getgoalie.com today and use the code YouTube10 for 10% off your first purchase. Again, that's getgoalie.com to give your learner a boost in speech.
Imagine blasting off into space, way up high where there's no gravity to pull you down. What do you think it would be like to live there? Would you be floating around all day? Or maybe even sleeping while floating? Well, guess what? That's exactly how astronauts live and work on the International Space Station, or ISS, way up in space. Astronauts live in space for months at a time, and the ISS is their home. It's a big spaceship, but it's also like a science laboratory, and it travels around the Earth at super fast speeds. You won't believe some of the crazy things astronauts do just to get through their day. So how do astronauts eat in space? It's not like here on Earth where you just grab a sandwich from the kitchen. No. Instead, astronauts eat special food that's all packed up in bags or pouches. They even have to add water to some of their food. Imagine drinking your soup from a bag. Astronauts also sleep in space, but not in beds. Nope, they sleep in sleeping bags that are tied to the walls. They don't have to worry about falling out of bed because, well, there's no gravity to pull them down. How cool is that? All right, it's time for our first quiz. Ready? Here we go. What do astronauts eat in space? A, pizza. B, special bags and pouches of food. C, sandwiches. D, pasta. What do you think? Let's find out. If you said B, special bags and pouches of food, then well done. That's right. Now back to the ISS. Did you know that astronauts need to exercise every day while they're in space? Yep. They have to work out every single day to keep their muscles and bones strong. Why? Because in space, there's no gravity to help keep them strong. So every day they jump on treadmills, ride bikes, and even do weightlifting exercises to make sure their bodies stay fit. And here's something crazy. Astronauts also have to be super careful about their water and air. They use water very carefully. Astronauts also do some seriously cool experiments in space. In fact, many of the experiments they do on the ISS help scientists on Earth learn about how things work in space. They even study space dust and stars. Let's pause for a second and see how well you're doing. It's time for the second quiz. Are you ready? True or false? Astronauts need to exercise every day in space to stay healthy. Think you know? Here we go. If you said true, then well done. That's right. Astronauts have to work out every day to keep their muscles and bones strong while they're in space. Now let's wrap this up with some fun facts. Did you know astronauts get to see 16 sunrises and sunsets every day? That's because the ISS orbits Earth super quickly, about every 90 minutes. That means astronauts are zooming around the planet fast and getting to see the world from way up high. And here's the best part. Even though the ISS might seem like a small space, it's actually huge. It's about the size of a football field. And inside, astronauts have special rooms for working, relaxing, and even doing fun things like video calls with their families. How cool is that? So to wrap it up, astronauts leave a pretty unique life up there on the ISS. They float around, do experiments, exercise, eat from pouches, and see the world from space. It's not easy, but it's an incredible adventure. If you want to learn even more about space and astronauts, be sure to explore more of our videos. There's a whole universe of knowledge out there just waiting for you to discover. Subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more, and be sure to check out our other playlists.
Is your little one working on finding their first words? You're not alone in this journey. At Goalie, we've developed a speech and language system to support early language learners. Our goal is to help kids learn their first 50 words. Here's what makes Goalie special. First is we have interactive apps designed by expert speech therapists. We make ad-free content like this to support learning. And lastly, our app for parents lets you track your child's progress. Every child develops at their own pace, and at Goalie, we're here to provide that extra boost. Our system has already helped thousands of families across America support their kids' communication needs. Visit getgoalie.com and use code YouTube10 for 10% off your first purchase. Again, that's getgoalie.com to give your learner a boost in speech.